What's up guys, and welcome to FPL Today. I'm the man in the know, J&O, and welcome to my reaction to FPL prices now that the new game has launched for Fantasy Premier League 2019-2020. So what this video will be is my quick reaction to player prices in each position, stats provided by Fantasy Football Fix, who are helping me provide you more and more content for this pre-season with their pre-season pack. Analyse your FPL season with the most comprehensive artificial intelligence tools only on fantasyfootballfix.com. Compare your statistics against the elite managers in the game using 10 unique tools combined with Opta data. Check fantasyfootballfix.com pre-season now and review your season data using the most powerful artificial intelligence platform. Click the link below or head over to fantasyfootballfix.com/preseason for analysis on your 2018-19 season. Anyway guys, let's get on with the video, and we start off with goalkeepers, and goalkeepers have been priced higher than they have been before, with a lot of the players we are used to going to at 4.5 million being raised to £5 million, and those players include the likes of Fabianski and Ben Foster, who unfortunately are now probably a little bit too expensive for the amount of points they're likely to get you. Even Pickford, who would have been a very big shout for a lot of people had he come in at 5 million, and Stekelenburg or whoever the sub-keeper was for Pickford coming in at 4 million. Pickford is now 5.5 million, the same as Hugo Lloris at Tottenham Hotspurs. So the question is, are they worth it? I mean, Pickford did get 161 points last season, Fabianski at 143, Foster at 129, and you did have Dubravka getting 131 points at Newcastle, and you had Rui Patricio as an option with 118 points at Wolves. They are all now £5 million. For about £0.5 million, you get a goalkeeper that got at least around 20 points more than Fabianski and Pickford. But however, you do have the likes of Matthew Ryan, who at 4.5 million got 104 points last season, and potentially Brighton could improve their clean sheet record. So that is something we have to keep an eye on. We also have the keepers at Southampton and Burnley to consider at 4.5 million. It's just about nailing on who is the one to start at each club. You have McCarthy, Gunn and Forster at Southampton. McCarthy getting the most amount of points last season was 73. However, it does look like Angus Gunn could be the number one at Southampton now, who got 47 points last season. And then at Burnley, Hart, Heaton and Pope are all 4.5 million. Hart got the most amount of points, but Heaton came in at the end of the season to get 58 points compared to Hart's 69. Pope didn't get any points. However, as far as I'm aware, Pope has signed a new contract at Burnley, so could be back in the running to be the number one choice at Burnley. And Burnley did have a good defence before they did qualify for the Europa League, which seemed to hinder their season last year. We move on to defenders, and we start off with the Liverpool trio, all coming in at the premium price because of how well they did last season. Robertson at 7 million, Alexander-Arnold at 7 million and Van Dijk at 6.5. Now, Van Dijk only got outscored by Robertson by 5 points last season because of his goal threat. However, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold are the more consistent as far as attacking returns goes, as they both chip in with assists on a regular basis. Now, Alexander-Arnold potentially could be the best option out of the three if you are only going with one, as he appeared in less games in the Premier League than Robertson and Van Dijk, which shows in his point total. But if we actually look at goals, he got one more than Robertson, and if we look at assists, he got one more than Robertson in that category as well. So had he played in more games and got the same amount of clean sheets as Van Dijk and Robertson, who got 20 and 19 each, whereas Robertson got 12, then potentially Alexander-Arnold could have been the highest scoring defender last season. Also coming in at that premium price point at 6.5 million is Laporte, who got 177 points from 18 clean sheets, 3 goals and 3 assists. He seems to be the most nailed on defender at Man City from last season, and did very well for those of you who brought him in. But below Laporte, we do have Digne and Doherty, who both had stellar seasons last year and both came in at cheap prices and have now been bumped up to 6 million. Digne is the favoured option for me, 158 points last season. In an improved Everton side, I think there's the potential for more clean sheets there, and also the potential for more assists. While he got 4 goals from 34 shots on goal, he had 70 chances created, getting 5 assists. So potentially, if that team keeps improving and they put away more of the chances he's created, disappointing, Digne could have another great season. In comparison, I think Doherty may be a bit overpriced at 6 million. 144 points. His team only got 7 clean sheets last year. However, he got 7 goals and 7 assists. It'll be interesting to see if he has a similar performance this year, now that Wolves have been in the Premier League for a year. There's always second season syndrome, and also Wolves now have Europa League to think about as well, with a squad that maybe isn't strong enough to deal with both the Europa League and the Premier League. So I'm leaning towards Digne over Doherty if I was going for a £6 million defender. And then if we're looking below the £6 million mark, the ones that interest me, Fabian Schär at Newcastle. Bit worried that Benitez isn't there anymore, which may make me hold on bringing Schär in initially. But 7 clean sheets, 4 goals and 1 assist. He is someone that is definitely in my radar after he showed that he has got a finishing touch and has scored some absolute bangers. And Valery at 5 million as well, 54 points. He was only involved in 3 clean sheets but got 2 goals, 1 assist. He burst into the team quite late on last season at Southampton and could potentially be a decent pick at 5 million if Southampton strengthen their defence. And then we have Charlie Taylor at 4.5 million. 7 clean sheets, 1 assist, 11 chances created. However, he was a very attacking fullback at the end of last season, and he's someone that interests me at 4.5 million. We now move on to the midfield, and of course the talking points to start off with are the expensive ones, Salah, Sterling and Mane. Now Salah has actually been dropped by 0.5 million compared to his price last year, whereas Sterling and Mane have been bumped up in price, Sterling at 12 million, Mane at 11.5. Now I think until we're a certain way into the season, a double up of Salah and Mane is probably just a little bit too expensive for us to really consider, seeing as that would cost us around £24 million. I get that Salah and Sterling would cost 24.5 million. However, you'd be covering 2 teams with that budget, whereas you'd only be covering one with a £24 million budget with Salah and Mane. So for me, I think Mane's been priced as highly as he has so that you can't double up on the Liverpool midfielders. That being said, there were 3 of the highest scoring players last season. Salah at 259 points, Sterling at 234 and Mane at 231. So I would be considering all of them for your sides, despite the prices they've been put at. Coming in at more reasonable prices are the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, who had an injury-laden season last year. 59 points still got, though, from 2 goals and 3 assists, and when he did play, he still looked like a really class player. He could be a cheaper way into that Man City midfield if he stays injury-free. Then, if you go to Everton, I think Sigurdsson just beats out Richarlison as far as a player for our consideration, considering they both come in at 8 million. Sigurdsson and Richarlison both got 13 goals apiece. However, 6 assists for Sigurdsson compared to 3 for Richarlison mean that I would lean towards Sigurdsson. And then Ryan Fraser, while there is transfer rumours hanging above his head, 181 points at 7.5 million isn't anything to laugh at. 7 goals and 14 assists from Ryan Fraser is still a player I would be very interested in, especially if Callum Wilson also stays at Bournemouth, because they seem to have a very good partnership together as far as assists and goals goes in the Fantasy Premier League game. A quick mention to the Chelsea boys before we talk about the midfielders I'm looking at. Willian and Pedro both coming in at 7 million. Both could increase their output now that Eden Hazard isn't around. So they are people I am going to keep an eye on. However, I like the looks of Zaha at 7 million. Crystal Palace seem quite determined to keep him, so he could be winning quite a few penalties. Again, he could be getting a few yellow cards as well for dives potentially. Who knows how VAR will fully play out. 10 goals and 11 assists is still a great output, and Zaha could be winning those penalties at Palace. But there is, of course, the question, is he going to give it his all if he doesn't get his move away? And then you've got James Maddison, also at 7 million, had a good first season, 137 points, 7 goals, 7 assists at a Leicester side that have improved quite a lot. And David Brooks is also someone I'm looking at, 123 points, 7 goals, 6 assists. If he didn't get injured as often as he did, potentially he could have got an even greater output. And then we have the cheap midfielders of Jose Perez at 6.5 million. Forward last year, I like the look of Perez a lot, as 141 points from 12 goals, 2 assists. That point total will be increased if he scores the same amount of goals as a midfielder, which is very interesting to me. Again, Rafa Benitez, having moved on, is a bit of a worry. And then Nathan Redmond, also at 6.5 million, 137 points, 6 goals, 5 assists. A lot of that came from the second half of the season. So if he keeps the output up for a whole season at Southampton, he could be a decent shout at 6.5. And then we move on to the forwards, and we've got Aguero at 12 million, Aubameyang at 11 and Kane at 11. And we can see that the forwards have been priced a little bit cheaper than they maybe have been before because the points are so skewed towards the midfield. Now Aguero 12 million got 201 points, Aubameyang at 11 million got 205. Depending on where Aubameyang ends up, he could still be a decent shout at 11 million. I think Aguero compared to Sterling, who is the same price, I think you go Sterling over Aguero if they are at the same price. However, during the season, one could drop in price, one could rise in price, and if either are injured, you can always bring the other one in. 21 goals, 11 assists for Aguero. He's still good value at 12 million. Aubameyang at 11 million has proven he's a Premier League goal scorer now. 22 goals, 7 assists, so I'd also consider him. Kane coming at 11 million is very interesting. 17 goals, 6 assists, only 160 points though because of how much of the season he was injured for. That is a worry as far as the FPL game when you have forwards that maybe get injured less. However, we all know how explosive Harry Kane can be. And then you have the likes of Lacazette and Vardy at 9.5 and 9 million, not getting much of a change in price. Rashford at 8.5 million could potentially step up for a Manchester United side that I expect to look very different to the one from last season. But I am interested in the 8 million and lower market because I'm going to be spending so heavy in midfield. Wilson at 8 million, 168 points, 14 goals, 12 assists, and Jimenez at 7.5 million, 13 goals, 10 assists, 181 points. Both players that had great output for their price compared to the other forwards around them. So I may be looking at a double up on the likes of these two players, or even going cheaper. Joshua King at 6.5 million, 141 points, 12 goals, 3 assists. However, he had more chances created than Callum Wilson, so potentially he could have a better output than he did have. He is also on penalties and there isn't any transfer rumours around him moving away from Bournemouth. Deulofeu has been moved to a forward as well, which is a bit disappointing, but at 6.5 million he looks like a starter at Watford and could be gaining more and more confidence. So again, he could come in to save some money, as well as Jota being a cheaper alternative to Raul Jimenez, who had a great end to the season and if he carries on that form could match Raul Jimenez's output for 6.5 million. He got 9 goals and 8 assists last year. Anyway guys, that is my quick look over a lot of players and their prices and who I am looking at and considering for my FPL sides. If this video has helped you out in any way, please do subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and hit that notification bell so you know when my videos go live. We have also just recently got, if I can find it behind my computer, and we've also got this little baby, so as soon as I get this all set up, we will be back to streaming now that my daughter isn't sleeping in this bedroom. So hopefully there'll be a lot more streams, a lot more videos. Stay tuned to the channel. Also check out Fantasy Football Fix, link in the description down below. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.